There are so many historical figures whom we know just about from our history books. What they look like is based on different artistic depictions, and for some historical figures, we don't even have that. But there are some figures who lived long enough to be photographed. We'll take a look at some of those today. Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is one of the great icons of American history. He's best known for his leadership during one of the nation's most tumultuous periods, the Civil War. He was born in Hardin County, Kentucky on February 12, 1809. He had a humble beginning, but his thirst for knowledge drove him to educate himself, and he eventually became a lawyer and a skilled orator. His rise to prominence was marked by his political journey, serving as a member of the Illinois State Legislature and later serving as a U.S. representative and senator. But it was his election as president in 1860 that truly defined his legacy. Faced with a divided nation on the brink of civil war, Lincoln navigated the crisis with unwavering resolve and steely determination. One of his most significant achievements was the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which declared the freedom of all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory. This proclamation altered the nature of the Civil War, transforming it from a conflict primarily about secession to a battle for freedom and equality. Lincoln's leadership during Civil War ultimately preserved the Union, ending slavery and laying the foundation for a more unified nation. Tragically, Lincoln's life was cut short when he was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, April 14, 1865. Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley was born Phoebe Ann Mosey, August 13, 1860. She was born in rural Ohio and eventually became an iconic sharpshooter and entertainer in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Raised in a challenging environment, she discovered her talent for shooting early on, helping to support her family by hunting and selling game. At age 15, she won a shooting match against renowned marksman Frank Butler, who eventually became her husband. Annie's unmatched skills with firearms brought her widespread fame, performing in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, a traveling extravaganza that showcased the American frontier. Her exceptional accuracy and showmanship captivated audiences across the U.S. and Europe. Oakley's sharpshooting talents earned her the nickname Little Sure Shot from Chief Sitting Bull, a revered figure in the show. She shattered gender stereotypes of her time, advocating for women's rights and encouraging women to engage in shooting and other activities traditionally reserved for men. She was an early supporter of women's suffrage and believed in the empowerment of women through skill and determination. Throughout her career, she set numerous shooting records and demonstrated her remarkable marksmanship in front of prominent figures, including royalty and heads of state. Annie passed away November 3, 1926, but her impact on the world of sharpshooting and her contributions to gender equality continue to be celebrated and remembered. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid was a legendary figure from the American Old West. Born around 1859 in New York City, his exact birth date and place remain a subject of debate. He became a notorious outlaw, cattle rustler, and gunslinger during the late 19th century. Orphaned at a young age, Billy the Kid led a tumultuous life marked by a series of criminal activities. He gained notoriety for his involvement in the Lincoln County War, a violent conflict between rival factions in Lincoln County, New Mexico, during the early 1870s. During this time, he was affiliated with a group known as the Regulators. Billy the Kid's criminal career was characterized by cattle rustling, gambling, and clashes with law enforcement. He was known for his charisma, sharpshooting skills, and ability to evade capture. The Kid's outlaw status was further immortalized through sensationalized newspaper reports and dime novels, shaping his image as a charismatic anti-hero. His criminal career came to an end July 14, 1881, when he was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. Despite his brief and tumultuous life, Billy the Kid became a legendary figure in American folklore, serving as the subject of numerous books, films, and songs. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, born February 12, 1809 in Shrewsbury, England, was a pioneering naturalist and biologist whose revolutionary theory of evolution through natural selection reshaped our understanding of life on Earth. His groundbreaking work On the Origin of Species, published in 1859, remains one of the most influential scientific publications in history. Darwin's early life hinted at his love for nature and scientific curiosity. He studied at the University of Edinburgh and later at Christ's College, Cambridge, where he was deeply influenced by naturalist John Henslow. Darwin's voyage aboard HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836 became a pivotal experience, providing him with invaluable observations and insights into the diversity of species, geology, and natural processes. During the voyage, Darwin meticulously collected specimens and made observations that laid the foundation for his theory of evolution. Over the years, he gathered evidence and refined his ideas, ultimately presenting his theory of natural selection, where species evolve over time through the process of adaptation and survival of the fittest. His theory challenged prevailing beliefs and sparked intense debates, fundamentally shifting humanity's understanding of its origins and place in the natural world. The work gained widespread acceptance and fundamentally changed the course of scientific thought. He also made significant contributions to other scientific disciplines, including geology, botany, and marine biology. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was a renowned American abolitionist, writer, and orator whose life story serves as an inspiring testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Born into slavery around 1818 in Talbot County, Maryland, Douglass experienced the horrors of bondage firsthand, but he managed to escape in 1838, making his way to the North and to freedom. Once free, Douglass devoted his life to the abolitionist cause. His powerful speeches, such as the famous "What to the Slave is the 4th of July," highlighted the hypocrisy of a nation founded on principles of liberty, yet perpetuating the institution of slavery. His eloquence and intellect were so impressive that many doubted a former slave could have produced them, leading Douglass to pen his first autobiography, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, in 1845. Douglass's influence extended beyond abolitionism. He was a staunch advocate for women's rights and held several government posts after the Civil War, including U.S. Marshal and Minister to Haiti. He was also the first African American nominated for vice president, though it was a symbolic nomination. Geronimo. Geronimo, born in 1829, was a renowned Apache leader and medicine man known for his steadfast resistance against U.S. and Mexican efforts to colonize Apache lands in the Southwest during the late 19th century. His birth name was Goyatle, meaning "he who yawns," but he earned the name Geronimo after repeatedly charging Mexican soldiers while shouting the name of a Catholic saint. Geronimo's rebellious spirit was ignited when he returned home from a trading expedition to find his family massacred by Mexican soldiers. Following this personal tragedy, he fiercely committed his life to defending Apache lands, culture, and people. His fierce resistance, remarkable resilience, and uncanny ability to evade capture earned him an almost legendary status. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, Geronimo and his small band of warriors successfully evaded thousands of U.S. troops for more than a decade. His final surrender in 1886 marked the end of the Indian Wars in the Southwest. He was captured and became a prisoner of war for 23 years. In later years, he became a celebrity, appearing at fairs, including the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. He also dictated his autobiography, Geronimo's Story of His Life, which provides an invaluable account of Apache culture and resistance. Now it's time to hear from you. What was the most surprising fact in this video? Let us know in the comments section below.